As the elevator stopped at the 5th floor, the doors slid open to reveal a pale, ghostly woman standing outside. My heart threatened to leap out of my chest as she stepped into the elevator. Don't try the dangerous elevator game. Welcome to the Suspects. Drop us a like if you enjoy stories like these. As an urban explorer, I've always been drawn to the unknown, pushing boundaries of fear and curiosity. The day I stumbled upon the elevator game legend, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had to try it. The thrill of experiencing something supernatural was too tempting to resist. My friends warned me about the dangers associated with the game. They had heard stories of people who had tried it and never returned, or became hopelessly tormented by the horrors they encountered. But I shrugged off their concerns, confident I could handle whatever I faced. One stormy night, I decided it was time to put the legend to the test. I ventured out, my heart pounding with excitement and trepidation, and found an abandoned, supposedly haunted building on the outskirts of town. As the rain pelted down and lightning illuminated the dark sky, I couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. But I was determined to prove to myself and to my friends that the elevator game was nothing more than an urban myth. The abandoned building loomed before me like a menacing sentinel, daring me to enter. With a deep breath, I broke in, my footsteps echoing through the empty, decaying structure. The storm outside seemed to intensify as I made my way to the elevator, the only one that still appeared to be operational. Once inside, I took a moment to ensure that I was alone. The silence was unsettling, but I needed to follow the game's rules to the letter. My heart raced as I prepared to embark on this terrifying journey. I carefully pressed the button for the 4th floor, my finger trembling ever so slightly. As the elevator ascended, I couldn't help but feel anticipation and dread. Upon reaching the 4th floor, I hesitated for a moment before pressing the button for the 2nd floor. The elevator groaned in response, descending back down. When the elevator arrived at the 2nd floor, I pressed the button for the 6th floor, my heart beat quickly. The elevator creaked and rattled as it continued its ascent. After arriving on the 6th floor, I pressed the button for the 2nd floor once again, my palms clammy with sweat. Once back on the 2nd floor, I took a deep breath and pressed the button for the 10th floor. The elevator lurched upward, the air growing colder and heavier with each passing moment. As the elevator stopped at the 5th floor, the doors slid open to reveal a pale, ghostly woman standing outside. My heart threatened to leap out of my chest as she stepped into the elevator. I clenched my fists, struggling to maintain my composure and avoiding looking at her or speaking to her. Just as the legend dictated, the elevator continued its ascent, and I could feel her chilling presence beside me, her otherworldly energy sending shivers down my spine. As the elevator doors creaked open on the 10th floor, I was greeted by a nightmarish version of the building. The once familiar rooms were distorted and twisted, like something out of a funhouse mirror. The colors in this dimension appeared muted and lifeless, casting an eerie pall over everything. A constant, low hum pervaded the air, sending shivers down my spine as I cautiously stepped out of the elevator and into the alternate dimension. It wasn't long before I experienced terrifying encounters. The further I ventured, the more sinister and oppressive the atmosphere became. Disembodied whispers in an ancient, unfamiliar language echoed through the darkened halls, and the air grew colder, causing my breath to fog up in front of me. I stumbled upon doors that led nowhere and staircases that looped back upon themselves, adding to my growing sense of disorientation. Grotesque, misshapen creatures lurked at the edge of my vision, vanishing whenever I tried to focus on them. Growls and inhuman laughter echoed through the hallways, always out of sight, taunting me. Turning a corner, I came face to face with a wall covered in sinister, ancient-looking symbols that seemed to pulse with dark energy. My heart raced as I realized the true nature of this alternate dimension. In a hidden room, I discovered personal belongings and photographs of people who appeared to be trapped or lost, their faces contorted in terror. These were the remnants of previous players who never returned from the game. A bone-chilling realization dawned on me. The elevator game was a trap, and those who played it were destined to become part of this nightmarish dimension forever. Panic set in, as I felt my connection to my own world weakening, and a crushing sense of despair threatened to overwhelm me. Desperate to escape, I retraced my steps to the malevolent entities lurking in the shadows closing in around me, as if attempting to prevent me from leaving. With each passing moment, the darkness seemed to tighten its grip, and I knew that I had to find my way back to the elevator before it was too late. My survival and my sanity depended on it. With my heart pounding in my chest, I retraced my steps through the twisted hallways, desperately searching for the elevator that would take me back to my world. Each step felt like an eternity as the creature lurking in the shadows closed in around me, their malevolent energy growing stronger. Finally, I reached the elevator, my hands shaking as I pressed the call button. The doors creaked open, revealing the ghostly woman inside, her otherworldly presence even more chilling than before. Swallowing my fear, I stepped into the elevator, desperately trying to recall the ritual's instructions in reverse order. My mind raced as I began the sequence. I pressed the buttons for the second, sixth, second, and the fourth doors, each time resisting the urge to glance at the woman standing beside me. The elevator creaked and groaned, the air inside growing colder and more oppressive as we descended through the floors. As I approached the final step, my heart threatened to leap out of my chest. With fear and desperation coursing through my veins, I pressed the button for the ground floor, praying that I had followed the ritual correctly. The elevator shuddered and began to descend, the ghostly woman's presence growing less palpable with each passing moment. As the doors opened to reveal the ground floor of the original building, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief wash over me. I stumbled out of the elevator, gasping for breath, my legs weak and trembling. I had managed to escape the alternate dimension, but the terror I experienced there would haunt me forever. The horrifying truth was that the elevator game was more than just an urban legend, and I was lucky to have made it back at all. In the aftermath of my harrowing experience, I found myself haunted by nightmares and unable to shake the darkness that now clung to me. Sleep was elusive, and when it did come, it was filled with visions of the terrifying alternate dimension and the grotesque creatures that inhabited it. I struggled with the knowledge that I might never entirely escape the lingering effects of the elevator game. It served as a chilling reminder that there are mysteries best left unsolved, and the consequences of opening doors to the unknown can be terrifying and inescapable. The experience left an indelible mark on my soul, a constant reminder of the horrifying truth that lurks just beyond the veil of our reality, waiting for those who dare to peer into the abyss. Thank you for watching another sus story with us. Be sure to drop us a like for more creepy stories like this. Also, here are the other sus stories that you can watch too, if you dare.